With the release of 1999, we got access to a ton more arcanes, including ones for your primary, secondary, and melee. Today I want to showcase the new melee arcane, Melee Doughty, Melee Doughty, Melee
Doughty.
Melee Doughty is definitely anything but Melee Doo-doo. In this video I will show you how you can abuse Melee Doughty without relying on the negative riven bug, while still being able to get some insane results with damage skyrocketing into the hundreds of millions and sometimes even billions. The first thing you need to know is that Melee Doughty does not scale per 10% in a stepwise manner, but rather in a linear fashion where you will also gain benefit of any rational numbers, meaning that you can get, for instance, 20.3 times critical damage multiplier. Crit damage multiplier given by Melee Doughty is a final multiplier and cannot be increased by crit modding or arcane shards. However, Melee Doughty does get used in crit tier scaling accordingly, following this formula that you can find on the wiki. As with other final base and crit damage increases, multiplicative scaling of this crit can occur when using the Gother Grave Spirit ability and Frost's augment Biting Frost. This is a topic that I have recently covered, so if you want to learn more about it, I suggest you check out that video. The way Melee Doughty gives additional crit is based on the percent puncture status that you have on your weapon. This means that you want to get this percentage as high as possible to get the most benefit. To achieve this, you want to pick a weapon with high puncture weighting, as this will increase the efficacy. To find the optimal weapon choices, I used the weapon comparison chart on the wiki, went to melee, sorted on main element, which shows up the highest weighting, and then did a Ctrl F for puncture. The first weapon that shows up is the VAYKOR SYDON and the SYDON, with the VAYKOR version being an all-round better option. This is then followed by the ceramic dagger, which we have an incarnon version of, and lower down the list is the Halikar Wraith, which is an amazing glaive type melee. The higher the puncture weighting is, the easier it will be to take advantage of Melee Doughty. This can be further increased by using puncture specific mods that can help skew the distribution of damage types. The first weapon I experimented with is the ceramic dagger, since it has an incarnon variant. Instead of building the ceramic dagger fully for crit, I leaned more towards status, outsourcing my crit increases to Wrathful Advance from Kullervo for a flat crit chance bonus, and I used Violet Arcane Shards to increase the crit multiplier just a tad bit more. The best thing about the ceramic dagger is that even without modding for any elementals, you are still able to trigger heat and slash status effects from the heavy attacks. Weeping Wounds is an amazing mod for Melee Doughty, as it will actively scale your multiplier while you are in a mission. Combining this with the base status increase on the ceramic dagger's final incarnon evolution means you can easily hit into the hundreds of status chance. This can be further optimized by using a riven where an ideal role would consist of status chance, crit chance, and melee damage. The other evolutions on the ceramic dagger are up for you to choose. It is important that while you are modding for weapons to maximize the effect of Melee Doughty, you do not use any other elemental status types or even elemental buffs to your weapon damage like Nourish, as it will massively skew the puncture status percent, decreasing your crit multiplier. To stack even more into status chance, I used Citrine with Wrathful Advance, built for strength, range, and duration. Using this build in combination with the following ceramic dagger incarnon build, I was able to output significant upfront damage, with status procs going into the tens of millions. However, while playing the mission, I was also using heavy slams here and there, and had some interesting observations. Going into the simulacrum and performing heavy slams showed me that I was dealing tens of millions of damage in the form of blast procs, which left me scratching my head for a while. But then I realized that most heavy attacks will actually have a chance to proc blast, which can be further increased with modded status chance. This gives you the ability to create massive blast procs even without having to use elementals. And even better is that blast procs are scaled multiplicatively by your crit multiplier, which is great since we have a crit multiplier that can average 200 times. And you know what also scales multiplicatively? My appreciation for the viewers that go from being unsubscribed watching my videos to being subscribed and watching my videos. If you like this type of content and want to help me out, the best way to do so is heavy slamming that subscribe and like button. But let's get back to it. Now, the only problem slamming has is that the ceramic dagger has a slam range of 5 measly meters. However, the VAYKOR SYDON, as mentioned earlier, actually has a slam range of 8 meters, making it the better option for a slam build. So I grabbed the VAYKOR SYDON, got a riven for it for a total of 10 platinum, rolled that riven until I was happy with it, stuck it on a build made for pure slamming, and watched the numbers go brrrr. Now, I will not explain the full math behind this, however I did get some notepad math to work out most of it, giving me damage estimates ranging from 1 billion to 3 billion for each full damage blast proc. To give a quick overview, slams, especially heavy slams, are insanely good for increasing blast proc damage because they can benefit from the nearest set mod bonus, which applies both to the modded base damage, which is important for blast scaling, and it applies to seismic wave, which is a separate slam damage multiplier. Taking the formula for blast damage calculation and inputting our roughly estimated variables, keep in mind these are only considering the use of Wrathful Advance and the mods on the weapons, we get around 1 to 3 billion base damage that I mentioned before. The only sad thing about this blast damage is that it's not very effective for single target damage, unless you combine it with Zephyr's tornadoes. This is because the blast damage scales exponentially with every target that's hit within 5 meters, which I have explained in an older video. Finally, I want to quickly mention the Halikar Wraith. The Halikar Wraith is another great weapon for taking out heaps of enemies, as the heavy attack will proc a blast status effect with a 100% chance, leading to massive blast damage. Combining the Halikar Wraith with this build for spamming heavy detonations, together with this build for Mirage, you can abuse double dipping of Eclipse on glaive explosions for some absurd damage even against enemies with full armor. So yeah, Melee Doughty is definitely not melee doo-doo. When paired with the right weapons, mods and builds, you can polish this turd and turn it into a bright shining diamond. In general, I would advise using Wrathful Advance to increase your crit tiers and make sure to mod for massive status chance using Weeping Wounds. Pick one of the weapons that I have mentioned in this video and let your imagination run wild. I wish you all a great time with the 1999 update as I continue to work on multiple videos and ideas which will slowly roll out over the next couple of weeks due to the holidays. Hope to see you all on the next one. Bye. As always, thanks to all channel members for supporting the channel. If you are looking to become a member, please find the join button below the video.